So you spent years, you're eating less, you're moving more, you're counting your calories, you're watching your portion sizes, and nothing is changing. And the reason why nothing is changing is because we're trying to solve a hormonal problem with a mathematical equation. And so the aha moment for me was when I realized that the body doesn't respond to food as a calorie counter, it responds to food as a hormonal signal. So today we're going to talk about 5 of those hormonal signals that you need to understand. And if you get this right, you'll be light years ahead in achieving your weight loss goals and your health goals. I often say that we have it backwards. We're trying to lose weight to get healthy. If you get healthy, the weight loss will follow. And so if you reverse engineer that thought, I want you to think about this. We were healthy at some point in our life. We were healthy. And then at some point, our health started to go downward and the weight gain happened. So how did that happen? It happened with food consumption. So if we reverse engineer that, we understand that the weight gain came as our health started to tank. So if we improve our health, we'll start losing the weight. So let's get into those 5 hormones. So the first one is insulin, and it is the master hormone. Now, insulin is the first hormone that is encountered when you eat anything, whatever it is. Insulin is the master hormone. It is the one that controls everything else, and it is triggered by elevated blood glucose level. So it controls the fat storage switch. When it is elevated, when it is on, fat storage is blocked, period, end of story. There was a JAMA study that people on the low carb burned 325 calories more than people on the low fat diet eating the exact same number of calories. Well, how is that possible? Because low carb doesn't trigger the master hormone, insulin. So this is the most important hormone to understand. So the second hormone is cortisol, and it is the stress hormone. And this hormone works against us as well when it is constantly elevated. We have the stresses of just everyday life. We have the job, we have politics, we have social media, we have the kids, relationships, final exams, on and on and on. We're constantly stressed, and it causes us to get poor sleep, which keeps cortisol elevated as well. So we're eating bad, we're not sleeping well, and we're constantly stressed. And it works against us when we're trying to lose weight. The next hormone is leptin. It's the I'm full hormone. It's the one that communicates with your brain to tell your brain that I'm full, that we have enough stored energy. And when it is functioning properly, then your brain understands that you don't need more calories. You have plenty of stored calories. You have plenty of energy in your fat cells. But when insulin is elevated, it blocks that signal. And so the brain never gets that communication that I'm full. And it just causes you to overeat. Been there and done that. The next one is ghrelin, and it is the hunger hormone. Now, ghrelin is the hormone that tells you that you're hungry. When you get hungry, that's ghrelin. But when leptin is blocked, your brain thinks you're starving, ghrelin is elevated, and you're hungry all the time. Even though you just ate, you're still hungry. So it's actively working against you. When it's functioning as it's supposed to, when you consume food, ghrelin goes away after food consumption. It rises and falls as you eat. But when it's not functioning properly, when these hormones are out of whack, we're constantly hungry. Even though we just ate, we're still hungry, causing us to overeat. And the 5th hormone is the growth hormone. It's the repair hormone. And it is an extremely important hormone, but it is the least talked about or understood hormone. And it burns fat, builds muscle, and repair tissue. And it is mostly active when you're asleep and during fasting. Fasting spikes your growth hormone, get this, by 1,300 to 2,000%. Deep sleep and fasting gives you a growth hormone surge. So why is it harder for this growth hormone after 40? It's because the the hormonal environment shifts. So it's important to understand it and pay attention to it because estrogen drops, testosterone drops, insulin sensitivity drops, fat starts to accumulate around the abdomen, muscle mass decreases, which is another very, very important, is our muscle structure. And it's difficult for us to understand because once you get over 40, the hormonal environment changes. And so we're still fighting against these hormonal changes on a caloric battlefield. As I mentioned before, we're fighting the wrong battle on the wrong battlefield. It's the hormones that we need to be paying attention to, and also our eating windows that we need to pay attention to as well. It's not about eating on a schedule. At this time, I eat this. On these hours, I don't eat this. Because what will happen is our body has the ability to pick up on patterns. Any pattern that you create for yourself, your brain will pick up on it. And there's pros and cons to that. It's a good thing in one way, but when it comes to our eating, it picks up on that pattern and it expects food or no food at a certain time. And it's bad in the sense that it'll make adjustments for those times. So we have to change up our eating patterns. We don't want to eat the same thing and not eat at a certain time every single day. So what I mean by that is that, and the reason why I say it can work against you, because if your brain picks up on that you fast during these times, well, what it'll do, instead of burning your stored energy, it'll reserve it. Your brain will say, okay, well, we're starving, so let me reserve the energy that we have instead of burning it. So you're defeating the purpose. So you don't want to set a schedule for eating and not eating. You want to keep that mixed up to ensure that you're maximizing the benefits of the times that you're not eating. And when you do that, you ensure that the times that you're not eating outperforms the traditional calorie restrictions any day of the week. That way you ensure a completely different hormonal signal. Now, you don't need to focus on managing each one of these hormones individually. They pretty much respond to the same signaling. Sleep, carbohydrate reduction, fasting windows, and managing stress hits all of them simultaneously. So your body isn't broken because you're not losing weight. The hormonal environment just needs the right conditions. Now, I have a full article on this topic. You'll find the link to that in the description. Like the video, subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video. Bye for now.